I don't think that's a waste of time.
I
It's
think it
fucking
is.
awesome. What
It's awesome, but you get the hang of it, and then it's kind of
it
like,
feels good. You wanted to feel good.
yeah,
You needed it. Like I feel like anytime I
like,
told
am I
you
still
something,
doing? It's like when you do it again, you're like,
where do you want to
it
be right
tricked
now
me again.
that doing too much masturbating did get you to where you be? Like you are where like I feel like everything that
I
you've
don't
done.
think I'm where I am because I've been masturbating. I think I could have probably done other stuff, probably done well. Do you think how many
Like what
trades you could
so
have learned?
okay, so what trade do you want to know that you would take some of your masturbation at? Like because
Oh,
I
landscaping or something outdoors,
like
painting.
now is the time for that when you're Lido Falls. Back then, you weren't jerk off. There's just
If I didn't have a libido, I think I would have done a lot of stuff. I would
you
have
will
done,
someday, and then that's when you get into like
but not these days.
privet.
No, no,
Well, not
these
these
days,
days.
no. These days you get the fake. The men now, you get a fake. They have all these enhancers. They have all of this. It's like
Yeah,
they're gonna have. You're basically gonna have like 80-year-old zombies wandering around.
it doesn't get your dick hard, but it doesn't get your like heart hard. So like guys, not heart or like your brain hard. So guys will take it to fuck their wives if their wives if they and
If
if
their
it's
wives
calm.
would want to make them do
Yeah,
it.
but they're not propelled by sex with women. So therefore you're not having to like meet this addiction, which is like the porn like jerking off is really just like a porn addiction and just like, oh, I feel good. I don't want to feel my feelings. It's the easiest way. It's just one choice. But when you don't have a libido later on, you're just gonna put that obsession to like woodworking or whatever. Or, canoeing or weight
Yeah,
walking.
it's just been nice to have pictures of myself like in a canoe or with like a nice statue. I don't know, something else,
You didn't do anything, you have no other
I didn't know how to like whittle or do a whistle.
Okay, what's it? If we had to do like a talent show, and it couldn't be stand up, and it couldn't
Okay.
be podcasting or interviewing.
Go back to high school town.
Let's do like right now. You're in a talent show with a bunch of comedians, and none of us. What would your be that your best shot of actually being considered like, oh my god, he's good at that? Like, do you have any
I
secret
don't know.
talent?
Nick might know. He's better than me.
I'm still stuck on one accomplishment you emancipated yourself at 14.
I'll get a man payment on himself. The problem is legal separation from family.
Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna perform that at the talent show, but
I think I could do it if we had like a small Black Hawk theater.
yeah. Again, it's a performance, but yeah, you're right. That is incredible.
So maybe I guess something like that. Like like I could probably do some Leon Gonzalez type shit, but like like something like that. I could probably do some Leon Gonzalez in that.
Wait a second, just let me get this straight. You emancipated yourself from your parents when you were how old?
14.
That's fucking badass.
Got out there. Yeah.
What can I just ask why?
Yeah, I just didn't like it there. It just wasn't the best fit for me.
How did you know that it was possible to do that?
I don't know. I don't really remember. I honestly don't remember what happened. I remember we met. Yeah, I remember we just,
Your siblings?
that's how it came down. Yeah, got a couple siblings.
Are you older, younger?
We're all in the so.
Wait, or what?
I'm number 2 out of 4. So.
And did you take it out?
Nope. Everybody. Some people stayed in. Some people got out. It was basically almost like that. Who's that guy that had that church out in Texas or whatever?
Yeah.
Yes. It was like Warren Jeff, but it was just my mom.
Well,
and I love you, Mom. Happy belated Mother's Day. She knows that, but yeah, it was just.
You have a relationship with her now, or dad?
Yeah, we got a relationship, but it's just.
Really?
Yeah, it's like.
Was your dad around?
No, he was not around.
Got it.
But I think it was just kind of like, I think we were like, I don't know. It was more like just. I think we were more like roommates, family kind of thing. But,
well, the fact that you were 14 and were able to do that, I mean, is incredible because I think that so often, I mean, I even have a hard time being like saying tough things to family because they're family or doing something selfishly because you're family. Like, just accepting that just because they're your family doesn't mean you have to put up with whatever they throw at you.
Right. But then also sometimes I feel like, was I just like a weak kid who was just afraid to take fucking runs
It's
of
so
it?
funny to frame it that way. In no way would anyone hear about a kid taking initiative to. Maybe you were stupid. Maybe you were like, "Mom, Dad, don't get her." Like a kid could do that, but
Right.
that
wasn't me. I didn't have escape for that one.
To make that happen and to actually do that, that's someone who realized I'm smarter than this, and I know I need to get out and I need to protect myself. That's very independent at a very young age. And
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
like that's what did you do? Where did you go? Was it first
I went to
friend's
stay with friends, yeah. I went to stay with friends, and then I would take my backpack to school, and I would find friends to stay with, you know? So it was like kind of like this. I think it was very avant-garde. I don't know what that
Were you
that
friends
is.
with anyone in high school? Avant-garde kind of like well, it's not the right use of it, but it gets the word it gets the feel across. So you were just fly by the seat of your pants, kind of like you were home.
I wasn't homeless. I was staying with friends, and then I finally found a friend who could let me stay full time. So then I would stay
And
there.
how long?
Stayed there for a couple of years.
And
We
then you
got
go
in,
to college.
yeah, we got into some mild drug issues over there, and so
Same.
then we went
High
our
school?
separate ways, huh?
You and I graduated high school.
Yeah.
So you emancipated and stayed. Like this wasn't like I'm gonna go be an adult.
No. I was just, yeah, I just didn't. It just wasn't like the best vibe in the house. You know?
Yeah.
Did you what was your vibe growing up?
My vibe was like
Were you like a I could see you being like a cheerleader. Definitely like a kind of a maybe,
you really see that.
huh?
You really see that.
Is that sad that I see that?
No,
I
it's
also
so
see you
nice.
as more than that, but
No, I would love to be seen as that. That is not.
really, your arms I feel like are so straight.
I could. Well, that's just not the right one to do. But like, yeah, like rah rah rah. Yeah,
Right.
I would be good. Thank you. That's when I was on Dancing with the Stars. I met my partner, and he didn't know that I wasn't a good dancer. Like, I lost the
Mhm.
show. I voted off first. When I walked in, you could see he didn't know who I was. We were meeting for the first time. You could see him be like, oh my god, yes, like she looks like she can dance
Do
like
it.
ballerina kind of.
Oh yeah.
And
I
then
can see
we
that.
did like a quick, like he wasn't even teaching me something. He's like, okay, let's just we did a quick thing, and I saw him age like seven. Like his
Mhm.
face dropped so severely of like he knew our face because I just don't have like a natural talent. So I would never try out for cheerleaders because I wasn't like sexy. Cheerleaders are sexy. I wasn't like ever trying to be sexy.
Are
in
they
high
though?
school.
Some cheerleaders were cute.
Well, there's like a perception of like anyone. I didn't like to dance. I didn't want to do anything sexual. I'm now realizing that's why I didn't have rhythm already.
Okay.
But also it was mainly about like short skirts and being like having your belly out and like being like boys like me. Like I didn't like boys in high school. I loved boys, but I was just scared of them. So I would never do anything like draw attention to myself in that way.
And what were you scared of? That they were going to be rapers, or that they were going to be
Like I was gonna
bad
be bad
boys?
at making out, or that or like whatever we were doing, that I would be bad at it, and they tell their friends to make fun of me.
Oh,
Biggest fear because it's capital time. Because I would hear stories of it constantly every day from my guy friends. So I saw it happening around me.
Well, I feel like, bro, I couldn't
Man.
imagine it being a girl when I was young. That would be
Yeah,
the
it sucked. I mean, there's
toughest.
so many. I just didn't want the shit that came with hooking up with guys.
Yeah.
Maybe if I one girl I remember she blew my crush. Oh my god, I love this guy so much. And she gave him a blowjob and she threw up because he
Oh.
gagged her with it. It's a normal thing to happen.
Yeah,
like
some
she-
people have small windpipe.
Yeah, she was like a high school girl getting deep throated by a guy who just got,
Oh.
like we had AOL at that. Like he was getting images
Oh.
that probably inspired that, and then she threw up, and then the story is like, what an idiot she is, and that's the whole story.
Yeah.
And I even perpetuate
Yeah,
that. Like, did you know that she threw up on a stick? Because it was just like to me, girls sucking penises. It was just like a betrayal to me as a woman. Like I was just like, I can't believe I have to do
Whoever
that.
did it first ended everybody else's childhood. So those people need to be called out in every family.
Oh,
Whether it's Ronnie and Melissa, or
listen,
whether it's
Katie.
Scotty and Jen, or whoever got the first blowjob and received the first blowjob in your
I'm
grade
not kidding you. I
ruined
cried.
everybody else's
I
childhood.
cried with my best friend.
Oh.
Fourth grade gave a blowjob. I've lost her. Like we don't.
Yeah.
We'll never. I just nerds with you and go to Sweet Factory and get a bunch of candy and then go in the photo booth
Those days
and
are
like
over.
go to the Gap and like dress up in funny outfits. I don't want you sucking penis. Like what happened? So I just
Those
was a
days
late
are over.
bloomer.
Now she's wearing shorts.
And she's hanging out with
She's at the
different-
gas station.
She's like giving hand jobs,
Oh.
and now all my friends are lip syncing. Like they're all making out. Even the girl that I go, oh my god, she's gonna be the last. When we went to high school, we predicted she was gonna be the first to sex, boyfriend, all this stuff.
Really? We're thinking about that?
Yeah, we were like, oh my god, who's gonna be the first boyfriend? Who's gonna be the first to get a period, lose her virginity, all these things. And all this girl, they all went to me. Everyone thought I was like poised for all of this, and I left high school a virgin who had never had a boyfriend, and who
And
had
you
never
feel
blown anyone,
Oh my
and who
god.
had only made out when a guy like had to be like not tricked into it, but
Oh,
they had to be
yeah.
on spring break knew.
Oh,
And then, even though he wasn't most popular boy in school, and they just couldn't, it just so happened I went to spring break my junior year, and I wasn't not attracted to this spring break. I really blossomed. It was a good one for me. But I go down to Florida, and my girlfriends.
what part of Florida?
Fort Myers.
Oh,
So we're
yeah.
in Fort Myers,
Shade.
01. We called it Boy, SB01, and we're cruising down the strip. We're getting guys cars that are just like cruising. We're like, can we go to town? And it's like, you my butterfly, baby. We're just like,
Yeah.
"Woo!" Like spring break. We're dorks. Like we never, like a couple of us have kissed ways.
You don't have any tattoos? Or did somebody just get one or
No,
something?
we were like 16. Like we didn't drink. We weren't that cool, but we were just like thought we were badass. So we're flirting with boys, going around town, meeting guys. Nothing's really popping off. Then one of my friends has like she's on the water polo team. She's kind of like likes to do boy stuff, you know. So she's friends with some cool guys. And so she has like a maybe association with them. But we are on the beach in Fort Myers, and who rolls up on the beach
I know who
the
it
second
is.
day?
Tone Loc?
The tone loc of my high school.
Oh, I thought it was a musician.
No, it was Cisco. He was shooting his video.
No
in
way.
Van. Like, yeah, no, it was the most popular boys in my grade who would never even consider.
And they
dating
rolled
us
up on y'all?
because they were striking out. They weren't shit down in Fort Myers. They were killing it in Kirkwood, in the halls of Kirkwood High School. But here, no one gave a shit. They were just some dorky, like Midwest boys. So they
Yes,
ran out of
from
options
Maine.
because it was the best. I'm telling anyone listening, plan a spring break where the hot girls group of girls is going and the guys aren't going because they will know you. The familiarity will make them invite you over, and then you get to kiss two of the guys. That was my first kiss, like two of the most popular guys in school. And then they went back to tell anyone, and I had mono.
Oh, yeah. There's always that chick that mono, dude, all the time. We had a girl that mono for like 7 years. We're like, somebody just take her life. Can we just sacrifice her, please? At some sort, like
something else.
God wants her back.
Yeah, that mono was the kissing just got like really tired. But yeah, I was such a prude in high school.
And we had a fellow, he'd always get hiccups around gay people too. All
that guy's gay.
he would just get them. It's like if people was gay.
And then could you scare him out of it by?
You had to drink water, or have sugar or something, or do one of the
What
tricks.
do you do to get rid of hiccups? Because there's a way that works.
Me?
Yeah.
I just know they're gonna go away now. I'm an adult. I don't really worry about it anymore.
So when you get them stuff, it's going to go away.
Yeah, pretty much. Or I'll hold my breath.
Exactly. You just hold your breath.
It's real easy. But when you're younger, it's like it just can't. There's a lot of people who have taken their life that thought they could get rid of their hiccups and just.
Yeah, I mean, why isn't there a cure that we all just go, this is it? Like, where's the race for the
Where's Fauci? Where's Fauci when it comes to
why are we still inclusive and it's all old wives' tales?
Yeah, you got people hanging upside down. Yeah.
Yeah, that should be our cause. That we all settle on. Yeah, you just hold your breath until they go
I
better.
remember, so when I was young, they had this kid in our school named Pat, right? He got the DJ from this girl, right?
Yeah.
And so everybody's fired up, people cheering him on, people are drawing up the notebook. Yes. People are excited.
So he got one, and everyone was excited.
He got one, everybody's excited. But what happened was then his the girl's parents found out. So her parents had to go over to his parents' house. Her parents called his parents, and they all had to go over and talk about.
I would love to follow up today and hear their side of this. That is excruciating.
So here was the crazy part.
I can top that story.
So he let me be on the phone. He kept the phone off the hook,
I can top that story. Go back to reality. Say 1985, 86 maybe. Yeah, 86. Names will be changed to protect the innocent. I was a sophomore. She was a senior. She had a nice Cadillac. Blah blah blah. We had some friends, and one night I was grounded. I wasn't supposed to be going anywhere for some reason. Go figure. I snuck out my window. Well, I said I was going to bed early. I snuck out my window, and she picked me up, and we went to Burger King. I'm sure that's what we did, and hung out there. But my neighbor saw me sneak out the window and called my dad and thought he should report that. And so when I get dropped off on the way home, after incidentally getting the Cadillac stuck in the dirt in the mud behind a church, which shall remain nameless too, it wasn't quite built yet, and the car was covered in mud. I was covered in mud, and we start to get to the house, and because I had to push the car out of the mud, that's why we we're all covered in mud. And I see a flashlight sort of running from my front house, like my dad coming off of the porch, like, "Don't you dare!" And I took off, or I told her just keep driving and drop me off at the corner, and I walked back home to face the music. And turns out they had gone through my desk, and they found some notes she had written me that were kind of explicit and evidentiary in the case of she was 18, I was only 16. So we had to meet at the church in the morning to discuss these events, and that was as uncomfortable as you can imagine. Awfully uncomfortable. And my parents brought up something about the statutory, and I was like, just don't do that. I was willing participant, and not her fault, and blah blah blah, and that would be the worst thing you could possibly do is to call the police on this. Unfortunately, they listened, and yeah, that was about that. Very awkward. So yeah, I think I topped that story.
Like, hey,
When was your first blowjob?
I think it was probably the same girl actually a couple of weeks after that.
Honestly, really?
I had to be real honest. Yeah.
Like,
But I got real scared. I was at a party. I think I was probably 15. I was at a party. Yeah, things went uphill. I was at a party and some girl was it was my girlfriend actually at that time, I think, or she I mean, I don't know if it was girlfriend or not, but
yeah.
Oh, and it was like behind a tree, but it was like the parents were at the party, and then the
This
mom,
was your first?
yeah, the mom came around the tree.
What? Yo.
Yeah, and I got so scared.
That's a crazy story. Why would you just be remembering this? You got caught getting your first blowjob.
And I was like, we're just looking for something. I just didn't know what to say. What would you say? And then I felt so bad for me. I felt bad for her.
The jig is up. Like, we're caught. We're busted.
I'm not going to use a racist slur, dude. I'm just saying that. Yeah. I'm just saying that.
Is that actually?
I mean, I don't know if it is or not. I'm not even taking
it sounds weird saying it, but I also don't feel like I would even be able to conjure what race that is. So I feel like I'm clear. You know what I mean?
You're totally
I don't want to jip you out of like talking about race, but
no, I think you are.
No, I think gypsy is not a thing to say. Jipping someone out of something is very not good.
My brother used to work with
and spirit animal.
Oh yeah.
You know when girls go, "Oh my God, you're my spirit animal," which I get that compliment a lot.
Yeah.
It's like I know that humans are animals, but supposed to be an
animal. Right.
Like, but also Native Americans, because that's like a Native American thing, and we're just going like, "Oh my God, like that little koala is my spirit animal." Like baby koalas are my teacup poodles are my spirit animal, and these are Native Americans are like, that was like founded on the fact that like a great we believed in that spirit, like we actually thought that our tribe leader was.
Do you think?
Or Red Bear or whatever.
Yeah, but they thought that we could think that, man. Everybody could think it.
Making it like cute and like fun.
But that's because if some girl does that, and she's pulling on her hair and stuff like that, and she never had a job.
Say it.
But then that girl needs to get a job. But I think she can still say it.
I also don't want a girl to be like, my spirit animal is.
See, that's what I want somebody more.
If you had to, let's not say spirit animal, but what animal do you look at and go, oh yeah, duh, okay.
It's just because, man,
Have you always liked rats? Rats are great. I would want to get one of pet guy very soon.
Well, I had to share a room one night with two, not rats, it's the limousine of rats, ferret. And I had to share a room one night with two of those.
No! Wait, have you said that before?
Oh, I'll tell you this story, dude.
Wait, have you said limousine of rats before? That is so fucking funny.
Why? You know, parents urinate
You
on
are
each
so
other's
funny.
back.
You are truly.
No, you were my
You know that
essay. I'm just gonna say essay. I'm not gonna say.
you
Yeah,
are
that
so funny, and I can't let the limousine of rat of ferret go.
If
That
that's
is.
the funniest thing we've said on this episode, then we are not.
What, are you kidding me?
You're good. You're doing great. I think you look
I
great.
know, I think that is the funniest thing, and I'm fine saying that's the funniest thing I've ever been a part of ever. That's so funny.
Dude, remember epilepsy? Remember how big that was? Remember epilepsy was big? Think about the things that were big when you were young. Evanescence.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah. Wake me up inside. Can't wait. Everything she was like, save me. Everything was like, I used to work at CPK. I worked at Pizza Kitchen, and she would just be like howling over
Oh,
that.
every girl that worked at CPK could relate to Evanescence
Oh my
singing that.
god.
You get off work, you're just smoking in your car.
Oh my god. Yes, I would smoke cigarettes.
God. Dude,
Whenever I stepped
there
on
was
you.
nothing better than smoking a cigarette on your way home from
after
work.
Woo! That's a good one. Now it's smoking weed
Finally.
after work.
No, you think?
I really enjoy it. I love. It's not the same. Like I love smoking a cigarette, and like listening to it, like a great song, and just feeling cool. The cigarettes do make you feel cool. Vaping doesn't look as cool. It does just because like younger people do it, so I guess younger people are cool, and you're like, oh, I guess that's cool. But cigarettes, I hate them, and they destroy lives. And I haven't smoked one. I only have one in 12 years or something. And I quit dime. It's very easy to quit, but I do think they look cool.
Cigarettes?
And they're fun.
Oh yeah,
fun
they
to
were
have
a
a
real
thing.
thing. Now people are sucking like this electronic thing. It just has a different vibe. But dude, there was nothing better. I remember I'd get out of work, light that bench up,
I want to have a fake cigarette. Should just like work like Mad Men.
and just be cursing everybody I worked with as I left. Just like nothing mattered.
Where were you working that you were leaving?
I was busboy. I did mostly
Where?
busboy. Throughout the South, mostly throughout the Southeast region.
Okay. You don't want to give any chains, or is it just like?
I worked at a place called BJ's Pizza House,
Mm-hmm.
and they went out of business. They got there was some, I think, fraud, and also the owner or somebody got cancer. I think maybe his girlfriend got cancer, but also they had a fight, they had a marriage dispute. What else?
Well, my first blowjob was. I know that everyone's all you can talk about that. But I did have a good
You
story.
try to talk to women about work, and they just want to tell you.
I don't want to hear about
the first
that.
blowjob.
You just say like a funny place you worked. I didn't hear like the whole backstory of your.
Sorry.
No, I was intrigued, so I literally don't remember one detail from it. But
Did you work at an ice cream place? No, that I can see you at Baskin Robbins.
no. First of all, I was not a cheerleader.
Dude, I would have bought 1,000 scoops. I would have let you scoop it with your hands.
Yeah, that's so nice. I really appreciate that. Like I
was
remember
like,
the
Can I
first.
taste some of it off your back? That's what I would have said. You know? Sorry, that's not a lot. I'm
No,
sorry.
that's so nice. I want to. I like when people allude to wanting to have sex with me. I think it's like very nice when it's done in a way that you're just like when they're just like jokingly saying it. Like that means a lot hearing that from you because I obviously that's like the struggle of my life. I think is like wanting to be fuckable and also wanting to be funny and fun and then people being like she's trying too hard to be fuckable. Just like can't I didn't discover that I was fuckable until very late in life. And I also am not married, so who gives a shit and whatever. But what I was gonna say about that is like also I even hate being like my first blowjob because people are gonna write comments like all she does is talk about sex. She's just trying to shoot more into sex story because I actually think it's interesting. But what I was gonna say, what did you say? I worked at an ice cream store. No, I worked at a pizza place, and I worked at a nail salon or my first job was at like a hair salon as like the receptionist, and I
You get to sweep
cried
up the
on
hair?
the job, and my no, well yeah,
Mhm.
but I like was taking appointments and we used to write them, and I cried so much on the job. One day my tears splashed down and like totally ruined a whole appointment and like couldn't read any of it. And my boss had to comfort me, and I just left and never came back. And she was calling my house trying to pay me, and I was just like, I can't be seen there again. Like I would temp here in LA when I was struggling. I was a nanny. It's just like they trust you if you're like a woman who smiles.
Yeah.
Like they don't think you'll like hurt their kids.
Oh, it's all about the JPEG when it comes to nanny. I feel
What do
like
you mean?
it's all about like the picture. You know, when you see those all pair websites.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like you want someone who has like references and stuff. But I was babysitting like with a service that will just dispatch you, and it's so easy. And I babysat for Judd Apatow
Oh, really?
for a bit. That was really cool, and just like gave me
For the
like a
rich,
peek into
huh?
that. Yeah, $25.
I worked for the rich.
But I was doing temping. You ever temp?
Did you ever do what's that thing, Sugar Girls or whatever? Sugar Babe?
Sugar baby?
Yeah.
Yo, I don't know who you think I am.
Yeah, sorry, John.
I cannot have sex with someone I like, let
Yeah.
alone I'm
Oh,
like
yeah, tell
very
me about
weird
it.
about sex. I know I'm fascinated by your stuff with it as well because I feel like I look at sugar babies or like OnlyFans girls and like thoughts and girls that are just like porn stars. I like love them all, and I don't know like I'm still weird about putting that kind of stuff out there. And
Oh, I remember first, yeah, when I even got that first blowjob, I even remembered asking my buddy to go with me because I was nervous.
yeah, I guess guys are nervous too. I mean, I would assume you guys are more driven, but girls are like, I've got to get this out of the way. I didn't give a blowjob till I was a junior in college, and all my friends, I was like, they were on sex relationships. I was just like, I haven't even had sex. I gotta blow someone. So I was just like,
Who was?
it was a comedian. That's the
Oh.
interesting part. I can't say who it was. But see, I was such a pretty
Was he tall or short?
medium.
I don't know who it is.
I'll tell you what it's off air, but I can't say it on air.
I don't want to know off there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. I'll tell you what everyone to know because I would trust you, but I respect that you don't care.
Yeah, I don't like knowing some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I actually.
I like more mystery.
Well,
I like to be able to imagine you going a couple of different people.
I have. Like, I mean, my roster is of people you know, but that's the thing. Everyone's like, she's such a whore. I literally
I don't
just
think
had
you're
sex.
old. You're also an adult. It's not like you're a child who's like sneaking into people's houses.
But
and
I
talking to
don't
them.
ever
You are
wanna
a regular adult and you can have sex.
I know, but if I were having a lot of sex, I would talk about it. It seems like I do because I talk about sex a lot, but I don't. Like, I haven't had sex in 2 years. Like,
What?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get right into that. Here's a woman right here that has a question. She's not doing well either. What's up? Is she Australian?
she's so cute. What? You can't even hear her. You think she's Australian? What makes you think that?
I just didn't want to see vibe from her.
I can only do one. It's your girl Debbie over here in RAF Lake England. That's Royal Air Force Base.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
My question for Nikki is how, and I'm sure you'll probably get 5 variations of this question, but it's about coming up as a female comic. What I've always this is a lot of female comics will start out make their first like big hit gig is like a lot of sexual based humor, and then as their gigs continue, it's like a play off of the same gig. And what pressures do you feel, I guess, as like a female comic of like if your humor is not sexual based, like do people think you're not that smart? Or like what is that trend about? I'm curious. Obviously not a comic, but it's something I've noticed, with female comics, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of them when there aren't always sexually based. Yeah. So, just curious.
Does it feel like that?
Thanks.
That's a great question, gang, and I appreciate your service over there. So I actually did a show at RAF Lake one time.
It's a great backhand question. So what she was referencing, what a lot of people say, is like all they talk about is sex, and it's true because I mean, there's this documentary called Hysterical about female comics, and it's the last thing I'm sure a lot of people want to watch, and I'm in it, and I did not expect this to be so fucking good and moving. Like I watched it and cried at my own story. Like I don't cry, and I was like, I saw myself as like, oh my god, you're such a scared little girl who doesn't understand her worth. And then I watched all these female comics that I'm friends with in this documentary. It's so well done. You will actually really like it. And it's I love documentaries. It's really well done, and I would not. I'm in the launch.
And is it a real documentary that's on? Do we see it somewhere now?
Well, yeah, it's called Hysterical, and it's FX and
Okay.
on Hulu. But honestly, this is not. If I was in it, I'd be promoting it. If everyone had told to watch it, who you would think would be like not into that, people have overheard me listening to it. But anyway, I watched all of my friends on there being like, what drove them to stand up? Judy Gold, Rachel Feinstein, Sherry Shepard, Margaret Cho, who else? Bonnie McFarlane, Marina Franklin, Fortune Painter. It's like
Kathy Griffin made it in.
She's in it. I love her. But and then the girl that stood up to Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein was at a fucking open mic out. It was so great. It's fucking good. But my point is, female comics talk about sex. At least it's presented in that documentary because we were like silenced about our bodies and controlled about it for so long that when you talk, you want to talk about like what you've been told you can't talk about. But for me, when it comes to sex, I I've done Fallon, like stand up on Fallon 4 or 5 times at this point. I can do clean material. I don't have to talk about sex. I don't talk
Right.
about sex in any of that. That's and I've done tons of like squeaky things, and people go, "Oh, she's filthy." The thing is, I talk about sex because I like it. I'm not trying to talk about sex with you today because I am like trying to be like sexual or because I don't think it's funny about anything else. It's interesting and no one's talking about it. People still think, oh, everything's been talked about. Like, no, it hasn't. I'm still in conversation. Like, I need someone to process this with me. And for me, that is saying it on stage and having people laugh and go, or have girls go, oh my god, that happens to me too. I needed to hear that. And like empowering girls. I just really want to do stand up, talk about sex because I want men to know how we're feeling, and I want to understand how men are feeling. So I want to express what I think men are feeling, and hear if that's right or
Right.
and like and make people feel better about it. Because I'm just the reason I talk about sex is because I'm so fucking scared of sex and like so also want it but also don't want it, and it's like the most interesting thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, sex is an interesting thing. It's really like it's like, I mean, it's how we get here. Also, it's like you don't even exist if somebody doesn't have sex, you know. So
That's what
the
yeah.
fact that it has so much magic in it,
I would be a
is
sex
pretty.
therapist if I wasn't if I didn't have like talent in what
But do you
I
think
would
though?
still work with sex.
Do you think that women don't get broad enough with their topics though?
No, I think talk about whatever the fuck you want. You know, like I, anything I do now. That's what we were talking about, like hobbies and stuff, and feeling like waste time. When I do something now that feels like if I masturbate now, let's say, or do something that I'm like I'm trying to think of the other, or get a massage. I'm getting a foot massage. That's when really I maybe should work on some stuff I have to do.
Yeah.
But it's like those things, not a waste. Like I want it, or smoking weed when I probably shouldn't. Being like instead of being like you're smoking, this is so bad. I'm just like, listen, I have a life where I choose what I get to do, and so if I'm doing it, I must want to do it. It must
Yeah.
be serving me in some way. So just cut the guilt
Right.
and just enjoy it. So that I have that approach now with sex stuff. Like I I will talk about whatever fascinates me, but sex still fascinates me until it doesn't. When my libido drops, when I'm doing stand up when I'm 60, I probably won't be talking about fuck.
Right. Well, we can always check then, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's tough sometimes. I don't like talking about it because it just seems kind of vulgar sometimes to me. So I like thinking about it sometimes, you know, but I don't like really. I guess sometimes I don't like talking about it, but I'm also like,
The vulgarity that makes you go, and that makes you feel shame about
right, you're
sex.
right,
It breeds shame.
you're right.
Like I'm getting into talking about molestation on stage now. Like I want to do like a fucking molestation chunk. I have not been molested, so as someone who hasn't been molested,
Oh, you got to get out there.
I gotta get. Well, I'm going to therapy to find it because I feel like I'm so fascinated by molestation and what it does to people and how much it's happening that we don't know about and how much it affects so many of my friends that have opened up to me
And
about being
so many
molested.
people were
It's
molested.
everyone. It is
Like, Jesus. Why
I,
don't we just admit that
everyone.
everybody's molested?
If you're molested, it wasn't your fault. There's nothing you did. If you enjoyed it, it wasn't your fault. If you went along with it, it wasn't your fault. You were a kid. You forgive yourself. It doesn't mean you're gay. Even if you enjoyed it and you're with a man and now you're in a relationship, forgive yourself. Talk to someone about it. I don't understand what that's like.
Do you ever wish you were molested, like?
I have a joke about it. Like it would explain so much if I was able to go, oh, it's that because my uncle and that one time and my mom ignored it, but I wasn't. I was assaulted for my first kiss, but in the scheme of things, it was very, very minor. And but it scarred me to be scared of men and feel like they could just jump on me and I can't get them off of me, and then they'll hate me.
Today's episode is brought to you by Liquid Death. Mountain water. Murder your thirst. Is there something interfering with your happiness in your life? Do you sometimes think about a smiley face and then you can't even finish drawing it because you just are not happy? Well, BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. BetterHelp. Now you think, man, I can't get help. I can't get help, man. Nobody wants help. That's crazy, buddy. You can start communicating in under 48 hours with a therapist. That's right, from right now. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online. So if you don't want to go to your town therapist or you don't want to go Maybe your wife is the therapist in your town. You don't want to go. She's going to know that you got a problem with her. So that's scary. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. I've used BetterHelp. I support what they do. You can go to betterhelp.com/Theo. That's BetterHelp.com/THEO and join the over 1 million people who have taken advantage of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and this past weekend listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Theo. Parlez-vous français, papa? For most of us, learning a second language is hard. Something you don't want to do. You don't even want to meet anybody that has a different language. And then some you meet somebody and they got a little, they got a little Yugo in them or a little, they're speaking a little bit of Nova Scotia. You can't handle it. Well, Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app. It's an addictively fun and easy way to learn a new language. Whether you're planning on traveling abroad or just want to connect deeper with family or former family, step family, Babbel teaches bite-sized language lessons that you'll actually use in the real world. 15-minute lessons make it a perfect way to learn a new language on the go. Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and German. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you get an additional 3 months for free. That's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to babbel.com and use promo code THEO. That's babbel.com, code Theo, for an extra 3 months free. Babbel, language for life. What do you think about? I think I was looking at the other day. Are you dating? Are you dating men now? Are you being able to meet men? Here's a guy that has a question right here. This guy right here.
What up, Theo gang?
What's up, Blair?
I've known my girl for about 4 years now, and I love her to death. However, I feel like the sex has gotten a little predictable in terms of like I know what's gonna happen, how long it's gonna take, who's gonna go where, kind of things like that. And I was wondering what I can do to maybe spice things up without really having to ask her what she wants me to do to spice it up. Like, I don't want to surprise her. I want her to like, this is new and I like it. So, what is some advice? What are some tricks I can do to spice things up in my girl's
Oh,
life?
you're trying to be a sex guy.
Okay.
Trying to be a sex. What you got for him?
All right. So some things that I don't think are for every woman, but that a lot of men don't know are most women. And you can kind of test these out. And like, I'm not an expert in any way, and I've never thought about answering this, but I'm just going to share some things that I like that I think other women would like. And it being definitely a light choking can't ever hurt. Someone like start very like this. If she likes that, she can tell you more. Even like it still feels a little bit like what? Just putting that you can't go wrong. And even if she's like, no, that's fine. You didn't do anything. You just put your like try a little something. That's fine.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul.
Just
Tie
choking.
her up. Tie us up.
Oh my God.
like it.
This is going to get
Girl,
everybody I know into trouble.
in a way, no, don't just do this without like.
Yeah, and make sure it's indoors
Listen,
also.
you can start all by saying, if at any point you don't want to do any of this, I will stop.
And started with that cat's cradle thing. You know what I'm saying? Don't do like, don't go boat knot. Yeah. Go like easy.
Just you can get stuff on like all these websites have like easy straps to put her under the bed. You can hide before you're even fucking her on the bed. You get on the bed, go just like take her arm, gonna go. Hold on a second, and then she'll be like, wait, what? And then put one hand in the thing.
Yeah.
Then if she's into it, like, what are you doing? Do the other one. Then do the she's really your underwear that easily flexible. Like, put a sleep mask on her, blindfold her. This is the thing she's all consenting. Then
It's like a writer's room.
your underwear off, but you can't because her legs are down there. And then take the scissors and fucking cut them off,
All right.
and just be like, I don't even respect your underwear. That is hot.